Welcome to my series, Noodling Around, where I will teach you how to use a pool noodle for a full body self massage. This first video will be dedicated to tending to the feet and the calves, really the lower extremity. So to begin, lay your pool noodle down and try stepping your insteps right up on it, which might be a bit of a balance challenge. And you can shift your weight a little bit side to side and get accustomed to how that feels. Always do it near a wall to help with balance. But try to knead into the inner arches of your feet. So as you're going and getting acclimated, let your ankles roll so you're feeling the outer and inner borders of each foot. Not sure if my mic can pick up the creak of my floor, but I certainly can hear it. Okay, so next, back your heels up so your heels are on the floor, but the place underneath your toe knuckles is supported by the noodle. And lean a bit forward until you feel a calf stretch. And then start to notice, like, are you pressing more through the pinky border or the big toe border of your feet? And what happens when you change your initial tendencies? You could shift your weight around. I sometimes watch my kids attempt to do this, but because their feet are smaller, it's a much bigger balance challenge for them. Okay, next, back up your heels even a little bit more. Look down at your toes and try to spread them out as much as possible on the noodle. And then press your toes down into the noodle and give them a bit of a scrunch, like you're trying to grip the noodle with your toes. And let that light up the undersides of your feet, which could potentially cause a cramp. If you get a cramp, take a break, shake it off, come back when you're able. Scrunch, 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 relax, scrunch, 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 relax. And then try just your right heel on the noodle and give it a scrub by rocking side to side. Many years ago, I used to regularly teach a weekly foam rolling class. And I have since decided that the foam roll, when you're ready, switch sides. Most foam rolls are too hard. And what I found is, like, in the moment I would get relief, but then later on my nervous system would rebound and tighten up. And I was caught in this loop of roll, loosen up, tighten over and over again. But with a softer tool like a noodle, I've found that it's just enough pressure for my tissues to relax and not so much that it overburdens them and causes them to seize up later. It's also a relatively inexpensive tool, so I think much more accessible for more people. Okay, when you've scrubbed out your left heel, take a break. Bring your feet underneath you. Just notice how the pressure is, right to left, front to back. And then find your way down to a seat and turn to the side. Place the noodle underneath the backs of your Achilles tendons. Lean back into your hands, find a way to be comfy in your upper body, and start to rock your feet out and in. Now, it took me a really long time to learn this. It's one of these things that I think takes a while to learn and accept. Like, you might have to literally do it the hard way first before you come around to the noodle. But even if the pressure doesn't feel overwhelming, see if it is in fact soothing for you. And not just in the moment, but like later in the day after having done this. Okay, so after you've done your Achilles rock, let's make it a little bit more intense by crossing left on top of right, adding a little bit more pressure, and see how that feels. When you feel ready, switch sides, left leg down, right ankle on top, a little bit of movement. And when the second side feels balanced, you can again separate your feet and try describing some circles with your ankles. And as you do it, try it in different ways. Like first, let your feet be kind of floppy and relaxed, both directions. And then also try it with your feet pointed. Switch directions. Try it with your feet really actively flexed. Switch. And then this I learned from one of my teachers. She calls it the foot fist. So it's different than pointing. Try bunching up your toes and then scrunching up the tissue of your plantar fascia, the undersides of your feet. You might get a really potent cramp. The detail that really lights it up for me, I just got a cramp, wiggle it out. So toes scrunch, arches scrunch, and then tops of ankles lengthen. Oh my goodness. And then maybe a little bit of movement by rotating your thighs out and in. Whew, this one's potent. Okay, next, bring the roll a little bit closer in, place your arches on your feet, and try massaging the undersides of your feet like this. There's certainly a time and a place for harder tools, but I think soft gets underrated. So that's why I'm sharing this with the internet. Okay, so after you've again addressed the undersides of your feet, take the noodle and place it underneath the roundest part of your calf. So not well, below. And start to again rock a little bit. Floppy feet. Let the tissues of your calf be as chill as possible. Calves don't get a lot of attention or love typically, but they are so vital. They're an important part of helping blood flow through your whole body. Sometimes in certain anatomical circles, they're referred to as the second heart. They're really crucial for getting the blood pumping all the way through your system. Okay. So you did the side to side. Now maybe you try bending your knees. Toes can point out kind of like frog legs, and then extending your knees. So now we're getting into also the lateral line of the lower extremity. It's like the base of the muscles called the peroneals. This one feels particularly good for me. And when you're ready, scooch the roll up a little bit more. So now it actually is right beneath the most bulbous part of the gastrocnemius of the calf muscles. And try some casual shaky shakes. And this is the kind of thing that like it might be a good idea to do one at a time so you can really tune into the minutia of experience that's available to you here. So like where are the pockets of tension or grippiness? So right now I'm just doing the right side. And when you're ready, you can move on to the left. If you find one side is much lumpier than the other, you can spend more time on the lumpy side. Like I'm finding I've got like a big knot or lump of tissue on my left side. So now that I've kind of loosened up by wiggling around, I'm just going to lean on the lump, and you kind of can see my thigh, my hips sort of jerking in response. So even though it's soft, I can still feel something. And when you find those pockets for yourself, like first is becoming aware, and the next piece is adding breath. And the places that tend to react and grip, can you consciously, intentionally coax yourself into letting those habits shift? Okay, next placement, just behind, it's not really behind the back of the knee, it's like the upper portion of the calf where I'm pointing right here. And give that a go. So if you wanted to, you could add pressure by using your top foot to push down. Um, Again, I'm not really making the case for extra major pressure, but you might want it. And when you feel done with this last station that we're checking out right now, try this on. Bend your knees and really wedge the noodle up behind your knee joints to the best of your ability. You can reach your arms underneath and catch your shins and give the noodle a nice squeeze. So here's some compression. This also a compression in the back of the knee, but it can also create some space within the knee socket, the knee joint itself. Feel. And when you feel complete, place the noodle down and try just as a check-in coming up to stand and observe how this little mini practice impacted your capacity to stand and feel upright in your body. Thank you for joining me. See me again next time for hamstrings. We'll probably break up hamstrings, quads, side hip into different sections. All right, take care.